What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today we're doing something a bit different. We are reviewing a book, indie book to indie author, self-published book specifically. We are reviewing The Forgotten Colony by J.B. Ryder. He is a very young author. He published this when he was 16. He started it when he was 12. And I found him on Instagram and TikTok, and and I also wanted to write a book when I was in fourth grade, however old I was at that age, 9, 10, 9, 10, yeah, 9, 10. And I just never did it. But then I came across him on TikTok and Instagram, and it kind of gave me that final push to actually write a book and publish my own book, which I have, which is Ring Chosen. The links for that are in the details below if you'd like. Also, the links for The Forgotten Colony will be in the details below. But moving on. So I've just finished the book, and I jotted down some notes. And I just wanted to give a quick review on it. And of course, these are my own opinions, and by no means am I an expert. I only have one book published, and it's definitely not as good as this bad boy. I'll recommend this book to anybody who likes sci-fi. But let's just dive into it. All right. I think his writing is very well done in most of the book. I found possibly 2 grammatical errors, unless that's the way it was meant to sound, and it just sounds weird to me when I read it. I didn't jot down the pages, but I'd probably remember when I saw him. Something I think he might need work on is showing and not telling, mainly about the characters' emotions. I could figure out and see what the characters were feeling in the moment, but it didn't necessarily make me feel the same way. I don't know if that makes sense per se, but for example, spoilers, of course, so stop if there will be spoilers. There will be spoilers. As an example is when Cora is on the gateway thinking about her mother and also Jason. I know she feels sad by what the words are telling me on the paper, but I couldn't feel it. I also didn't feel quite a connection to Jason as I thought I should have. He was only mentioned at once in the beginning, and also when he died. I feel like a good example would be like what was her breathing? Was it shallow? I guess I take it from my own personal experience of when my dad died, of how I felt. It didn't quite feel the same to me, I guess. Some things I would have liked to know was the collapsing of Prescott while they were there coincidental, or did they actually cause it and I just missed that part in the book? Because I know they were moving a bunch of stuff. Maybe their movement caused it to start exploding, but the way it read in my head was the exploding started way down farther in the tunnels, and they're like, "Oh crap, I gotta go," so they ran. Or was it caused by them? It just felt very coincidental. So I was thinking something might have happened from somewhere far. And then how did OSC not know the gateway was no longer in Earth's orbit? Because they were gone for what, like a month, right? A month? Yeah, about a month. I feel like someone from OSC would still be tracking it up in Earth's orbit. Like I said, that's just my thoughts. So when they took the cruise ship up and realized it was gone, they were like, "What?" I feel like they would have known that. I would have also liked to see the final moments on Earth from Cora's or Carver's perspective. I wanted to know why Ray and I wanted to know why Ray and the others saw Carver as a hero. Obviously, because he let them on the cruise ship. Did he own the cruise ship? I'd have to relook at that. But I felt like I needed to know more about that because Ray just took him out of the jail cell he was in and say we see you as a hero, and that was about it. And then moving on to Ray's character felt like it was a fill-in. I'm not quite sure what her role was for the story besides another antagonist whose perspective on the situations kept flip-flopping. I suppose she did have the key card to get into the launch bay. Maybe that. But yeah, she was not my favorite character. I'll say that. She may have been my least favorite, actually. But, and then for the longest time, I also thought Eric's purpose was a fill-in as well, until he revealed he was the cause for the plague, which I actually wasn't expecting. Like, I was expecting he murdered someone or did something. But then the tie-in with the mechanic for the brother, that was a really good tie-in. I enjoyed that. I was like, oh snap, brilliant. Um, and then I also was curious because he was put into the cryo on the gateway like a week before. Was it a week before the meteor? No, it was after. It was a week before they left. I'd have to look it up again. And then when they got to, and then Zach and Riker were put in the same cryo with him. But then they thawed when they got to Earth in 2030. But why didn't Eric thaw out when they arrived to Earth? I'm thinking Quentin maybe scheduled Zach and Riker's to unthaw. But then who scheduled Eric's to unthaw when they went back to Mars? That one kind of confused me for a second. And then the red plague creating Erogen. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Erogen was a great idea. I thought that was amazing. I mean, he definitely. I mean, I'm no scientist, so he definitely did his research on how most of the scientific stuff worked. Unless he's just making it up. Good for him. It felt smart. It read smart. So that was very good. That is all my notes. I would say great book. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to reread it at some point. But I do have the second one in the mail. Us Before Them. I'm quite excited to read that. I'm going to do another review when I finish that one. Because I'm quite excited to see where it goes off. Not where it goes off, where it goes on. Oh, another note is the last few hundred pages, nothing was working out. It was just one mishap after the other, or one problem after the other, which I was like, this is a lot of problems. As a reader myself, I don't know if I like that, but it went with the story, and I will admit, it took me about 150 pages to really get into the story to the point where I wanted to keep reading it. But I will say the first 50 pages in a book, for any book, takes me a while to get into, because I'm just always confused at the start of a book, especially if it's like a series, because I feel like there's a lot of detail trying to be put into one spot. But very great. I do recommend it to anybody who's into sci-fi. I would say it's probably my second favorite genre. My first one is obviously fantasy. Not obviously. It is. Which is weird because I wrote a sci-fi novel. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But regardless, check out JB Ryder's Instagram and TikToks. They're going to be in the links below. They have details below, and so will be a link to his Amazon. Let me know what you think in the comments about his book. What you liked, what you didn't like. I'm curious to know. And if you're excited as I am for the second one, I'm excited to see where it goes and what Alpha Cent is like, or Eden in this case, and the people. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Deuces.